Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, 3Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. Hey everyone, welcome back to Reticle Up podcast. I am here with Donnie Flowe. So he owns Stage Zero Shooting Supply, which we'll talk a little bit to in this episode. He is the Pro-Am match director, the Tarheel 3-gun match director and owner now. And he does so much 3-gunning all across the sport. And I'm excited to have you on, Donnie.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to be on. Always enjoy doing these kinds of things, and yours is always very fun and entertaining. So hopefully we can keep it that way.
Yeah, we've got some fun stories and a new dad.
Yeah, yes. Struggling on the sleep.
Oh, it's so cute though, seeing kiddo, the dog, the family. I love it. So, and the weird, yeah, you're on what, break right now?
Yeah, I'm on leave. I got through so the Department of Defense made paternity and maternity leave. It's now primary caregiver, and they can't tell you who the primary caregiver is except for you and your spouse to do it. So I got 12 weeks of primary caregiver leave.
Heck yeah.
And I have not cut my hair or shaved since then. And I ain't doing it until the morning that I have to go back is when I'll go get a haircut, shave.
You know, I semi-believed you. So we were at the gathering a couple weeks ago, and I was like, he's for sure going to at least get a haircut between now and then. No,
it is. Boy, it's out there now. I mean, I'm letting my inner Martini shine.
Oh, you do have the curly hair like him. It was good to see him shooting again this weekend.
Yeah. He was at MultiGun Nationals. He'll be here at Battle of Southwood this weekend as well.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in there. So, yeah, MultiGun Nationals. Walk me through, what did you think as a shooter of the match? And then what did you think as like a match director perspective of MultiGun?
Okay, so either way I can get in trouble here. So I'm just going to be honest. So I think that MultiGun USPSA did some strides with changing some of the rules to make it a little bit friendlier for gun handling, to try and get 3-gunners to come to MultiGun.
Yep.
By USPSA and everything. You know, the rules have been very restrictive compared to what we do in 3-gun. Whether you want to call it outlaw 3-gun or whatever, but what we do in 3-gun is very different than the gun handling in USPSA MultiGun.
Yeah.
3-gun, especially at the Clinton House where you work out of your car majority of the time, you freaking can take your holster off and stick it in the back of your truck. You work out of the back of your truck. You take your stuff over to the preload table. You say, hey, am I good to preload? Yeah, go ahead. And they move on about their business, and you preload and everything. And there, it was still, okay, everybody come over here and preload. We have to watch you preload. Okay, you're done with your stage. Put it on the table. We have to watch you put it back in the bag. So it wasn't the 6 foot from the berm kind of thing, and we could take the guns off, but you had to do it under an RO supervision. So there was some steps forward.
Sure.
But in my opinion, there's still some steps to take to get it to where it needs to be to get participation.
Yeah.
I think there were some of the stages were good. I like some of the stages, and I like shooting. Don't get me wrong. I like shooting base stages. I like being able to get on the trigger fast and get to it and go it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll say for a national level match, for what is supposed to be the national level match.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think there was enough long range.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a high enough round count. This is as a shooter. Yep. I think it was 408 rounds in comparative to the Tarheel Challenge that I'm doing, the American Defense Tarheel Challenge that I'm doing in a few weeks. The round count's going to be closer to 650.
Yeah.
So that's a big discrepancy between an outlaw 3-gun match and what's supposed to be the national match.
Right.
We're going to be shooting out to 700. The farthest we went, I think, was 325. So, like that kind of thing. I get the USPSA is a bay style matches, generally speaking. But when you have it at a facility as nice as the Clinton House with such a wide array of options that you can do, I don't feel like it was fully taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And some of that still falls, and some of that is not because of Shannon, who built the stages. Some of it's because of the restrictions of USPSA. They can't use like spinners like Texas Stars and double Texas Stars and the propeller plate rack and stuff like that. So that takes some of the things that we see at every 3-gun match
out of it
and takes it out of the thing. So a lot of paper, not a lot of steel. I think that should be the other way around.
I agree.
The ratio I'm trying to do at the Tarheel Challenge is like a 60 to 40. And this was probably 35 to 65.
Holy cow.
35% steel, 65% paper. Mm-hmm. So the big killer at the match was one of the stages, stage 2.
I heard about this, the bonus time.
Yeah, Shannon set it up, and there was two. It was kind of identical stages on opposite ends of the stage, and there were 2 swingers. And as you activated the swingers from the middle, they would go, and you had to shoot one side, run all the way down, get the other side. And he didn't think that people would be able to do it. Well, when the ROs were shooting it, they saw that you could. Mm-hmm. And it was a bonus target. So 10-second bonus if you got it. So Nate Staskowicz ran the fastest in the match, period, but for TAC Ops especially. And he did it in like 8.13 seconds. So he did it in 28.13, but he got 20 seconds. So it made it an 8-second stage. So if you think about that, for every eighth of a second, or every 0.8 of a second that you're behind 8.13, so if you're at 9 seconds, you've lost 10 points. Yeah. So you're already coming in at 90%. And unfortunately, them not throwing that stage out, that changed the outcome of who won the match.
Oh, I'm sure. I saw Joel Turner's stage that he showed with that, where it didn't activate that one, so he had to run back to the middle, and that was painful to watch too. And like, I know Don Obier wrote a review as well, that it shouldn't come down to one stage at the end of the day either for a match. And that really
12 stages and one stage literally decided, because the person who was second place in the match lost 20 match points on that stage, but they were only down by like 3 match points when it came time to, or 4 match points when it came to the end result. So you can't have, I heard someone say, oh, well, I think Shannon put it out, or somebody said that couldn't legally find a way to legally justify pulling it out according to the rules. And to me, the match director side of me is, I don't care what the rules say. I don't care how you have to try to legally justify it. The fact is that you have to pull it out.
Yeah.
You can't have a stage that dictates the outcome of the match.
I think that's like in the sportsmanship clause almost. Like, I know it's not written in there, but when I think about USPSA rules, I think that is from that angle of the match and the spirit of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's one thing if somebody has a bad stage, and like a truly bad stage, and they go from shooting 80%, 90%, or 90, 95% every stage, and they're going back and forth, and then they have a stage where they have a major malfunction or just jack it up, and they end up at 40%, and that causes them to lose the match. That's one thing. But by the stage design changing the outcome in one stage in a 12-stage match, you got to toss it. But they didn't do that. So as a match director, I think that that's the thing I had the aspect with. The stages were all very straightforward, very kind of fast. The way they did the format, it was supposed to be AM, PM format. Mm-hmm. And because of the participation level and the amount of squads, they did 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Well, we were done by 11:15.
Yeah.
All 3 days, and then we sat around. We went and got something to eat, and we sat around till 1. And you start to feel tired. You're ready to take a break, whatever. You go sit out on the stage for 45 minutes, waiting for the next one to start. So it wasn't a big fan of that. Well, I think they made some steps in the right direction for MultiGun with USPSA. I think there are also some things that did not help them in that effort to move forward.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it move forward and
of course we do. We want it to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's getting the right people in charge up there. I'll be honest with you, like the president, running for the president or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I'm behind Steve Moneypenny.
Yeah, he showed up.
I think he's a good dude. I think he looks at things in a very fair way. And on top of that, he's a three gunner. I think he's going to do the things that need to happen, or try to influence and do the things that need to happen to help grow multi-gun. You know, there's a lot of USPSA shooters that I think are they don't like multi-gun. They don't like long guns. They don't like our gun handling. They, you know, I don't know what they think about us, but sometimes I don't think it's a very high opinion. You know?
Right.
So, but he's a three gunner, and he sees the value in that, because if you can grow multi-gun, you got to look. Three Gun Nation, if you look on social media, they had like 280,000 followers on Facebook.
Wow.
They had a huge membership, right? So if you can do that, and that was three gunners. That was not USPSA. Now there were some USPSA members that were three gunners, but there's a lot of three gunners that are not USPSA members.
Right. Yep.
So if you can bring them into the fold and create something of value for them with a correct, good, true classification system and give them value to that, if you can bring in a true nationals match that brings value to that and has those kinds of big stages that a national match should have, if you can bring value to it to those that are wanting to shoot the world shoot, to where now we've got actual qualifiers and stuff, and that's one thing. So like, I'm looking to do next year, I've got to submit I'm actually having to start a USPSA club, Tarheel 3-Gun USPSA club. Mm-hmm. But we're doing it because I'm going to be running shotgun and rifle single day matches next year, one gun only. And we're going to put it to the board, hopefully get approved and everything. Will be qualifiers for the world rifle and shotgun shoot as well. So, you know, whatever we can do to help grow, but you have to let those people know that, hey, we're willing to make the changes to get you in there. There's within extent of, you know, what lawyers and whatnot will allow them to do. But I think that's a key to it. I think they've got to keep pushing forward and make the changes. And honestly, I'm kind of curious if there'll be a multi-gun nationals next year.
Oof, that's hard to hear that, actually. That's hard to hear that. I did watch. I was proud of like Justine Jalise. You know, they're normally pistol shooters. They came out and 3-gunned, and I was laughing. Poor Jalise. She posted, I went to MultiGun Nationals, and I really went to a track meet, and she just posted her running and running and running.
And that's something like any to me, any 3-gun, I don't think it's a sprint match. Like if you're running from one position to another, I don't care what match it is, national or otherwise, you are shooting from position to position.
Yeah. Not running.
Not a 30-yard sprint, let alone 2 30-yard sprints in the same stage.
Yeah, I saw that. That's not a thing.
So, yeah.
I mean, if you think about, I like what you said, because I've been to low cap nationals, high cap nationals, 2-gun nationals that USPSA has put on for the last like 3 years. And, you know, their round counts too are even like 400 or 500 rounds, and that's 2 guns or 1 gun. It's like, okay, we're talking about 3. So like that does justify and verify that should be more a higher round count. I don't like running for the sake of running either. I mean, I busted my ankle and I wasn't going to make that match, because after I looked at that, I'm like, I'm out. Like, but yeah. And like you said, I think the prescriptive nature too, I'll just say this on some of the stages I saw, at least on Instagram, is like, you shoot this gun, you shoot this gun, you shoot this gun. And, you know, I do like options. I did like the one where you could slug paper, or, you know, plays with the shotgun, which is awesome.
That was one of the better stages.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that's 3-gun to me. Is like, hey, you want to shoot shotgun, pistol, shoot pistol, and like be able to have options.
Yep. And, you know, you're bringing up the other nationals over the last few years, you know, like shooting 2-gun nationals and PCC nationals. You look at the stage complexity that they had there, to where there was a bunch of different ways to run it.
Yep.
And everything. And it's figuring out, like, that to me is what sets apart the shooters here to the shooters here to the shooters here. Is, you know, being able to break down a stage, how to get into position, out of position as fast as possible, how to shoot the most of targets from one position, you know, how to make the most of that economy of movement and everything. And stage 8 was like that, with being able to do it. Stage 2, there was a couple different ways to do it. So it wasn't bad. The rest of them were all pretty
prescriptive. You
can do something different, but you're going to be at such a disadvantage if you do it that way.
Yeah.
The rest of them were pretty straightforward. So, like I said, seeing that that's the way it should be at the larger matches, where there's a bunch of different ways to do something.
Yep.
And then this is very straightforward.
Yeah.
Wasn't really what I was expecting, and that's not what I've seen in the past out of Shannon. So
not out of Shannon, yeah. I remember 625-yard targets. I remember, being able to choose pistol or shotgun on a lot of them.
So I was a little disappointed in the stages and whatnot. So
yeah. So moving into the Tarheel, and I'm really excited about this. My entire dream, my entire life, if I ever get a shotgun that works, is to shoot World Shotgun Shoot. Like, that's so exciting. And people forget that shotgun's a sport internationally. They forget that rifle is a sport internationally. I know Joe's gone over there, Becky's gone over there, Lanny's gone over there. So if we don't have these 3-gun, these one-off matches, like, that is truly going to die. We're Americans. Shooting is our game. So
yes, exactly. And previously the and for instance, so MultiGun Nationals has been the only qualifier that they've had for it, right? So you look at a couple years ago, we picked people. I say we, USPSA picked people to be on the team based off of their participation in pistol,
right?
Not who is the best shotgunner, not the guy who's shooting open in World Shoot and is winning every match that he goes to in open against the best shooters in the country. And he ends up not on the team, talking about Josh Freilich, and ends up winning the World Shoot on the individual side. So we've got to have a way to, other than one match, to do the qualifiers and make selection based off of that. So I actually think I was talking to Mike and Lan this past weekend, when they were down here, and what we're putting forward is that we're going to do do a total of 4 matches. We're going to do 2 at Clinton House and 2 at over in Texas or whatever. Okay. And it'll be a single weekend with a single day of shotgun and a single day of rifle. And what we're looking to do is probably do like $125 entry fee for each day.
Perfect.
And then we'll take our cut, and then we're looking to put in $35, $40 back into a pot, and winners, pyramid down on a cash payout. We're even looking at taking part of the money that we make off of it and funneling that in to help
people go. That would be cool.
So if we've got those 4 matches, and that gives 3 years of 4 matches, and maybe we add in 2 more somewhere else, maybe up towards the Midwest, like at Chad Francis's place or something like that. Even though
Chad and USPSA, hold on.
I was going to say, he's kind of anti-USPSA, but, he's in a good location. And there's a lot of 3-gunners around there. Or maybe
Lead Farm. It's
Lake
Lead
Forest?
Farm. Well, yeah, they have that one.
Up in Minnesota, where they do the Tri-Gun, the Vortex Tri-Gun or whatever, maybe somewhere up there. But, in a couple different places in the country, so that maybe we have 6,
What would be neat, too, is like the Go Fast Don't Suck postal match, where it's the same stages, just clubs set them up. That would be neat too, is where people wouldn't have to travel to Clinton House and Texas to shoot different ones. It's the same stages in different regions, like you're saying, and you could see maybe how you stack up against everybody across the country.
Well, that's going to be the classifier. So if we get a classification system, but you can't do that for qualifiers and put that down to the local level, because let's face it, we've seen it in the past. People cheat.
Yeah.
So you can't create the stage and say, "Hey, local level, run this," because it'll be the person that runs it 25 times, and they take their best time, and that's what they input into the score system. To say, "Look, I did it." So
has a small, sad ego. I just can't even.
So, but that's what we're looking to do, and then you take those in with the World Shoot for the qualifiers, and you got MultiGun Nationals for the qualifiers, and at the very least, now you've got 5 scores to pull from, or maybe 7 scores. And then they're looking, I know USPSA is looking to do some things to try and get other matches set up as qualifiers. And they're working out the details of that, and there's a lot of things going on. Hopefully that's going to help, like I said, to kind of propel the USPSA multi-gun forward, and to get 3-gunners on board with it, and not so anti-3-gun. I mean, anti-multi-gun USPSA.
Yeah.
And I say that I was one of the ones leading the charge.
Yeah.
Like, I had a multi-gun, a USPSA membership for 10 years, and the first 7 years, I probably didn't shoot a USPSA match but once a year. Yeah. And when I did, I used it as practice for 3-gun. 2 anywhere, go as fast as you can. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had used it for what it was intended for, and used it for accuracy and movement and breaking down stages and everything else. But I didn't do that. I was like, as fast as I can. Mike, Charlie, Delta. I was like, doesn't mean nothing to me.
I mean,
1, 2, 5. Like, is that good? No, it's not.
Sorry. Okay, so this reminds me of something funny though. So this past weekend I shot because I was so sad I didn't get to go to MultiGun. There's a slot to the IDPA thing, and I was this close after the first 2 stages, like you said, of just being like, F it, this is gonna be 3-gun practice, too many were on paper. This close.
Let me tell you, I can go to a USPSA match and take it serious now. You will never, ever, ever get me to go to IDPA match.
Oh, it was awful. That was my last match I've ever shot for IDPA, first and last, and the whole thing was like so hard.
I went to a fun shoot that had 2 stages of Steel Challenge, 2 stages of USPSA, and 2 stages of IDPA, and I shot 1 of the Steel Challenge, 2 of the USPSA, rolled into the IDPA, got done with the first IDPA one, and packed my stuff up and left. Didn't even finish the match. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm never, there's another stage of IDPA in this match. I'm not shooting. I packed my stuff up and left, and I never went to anything that was even remotely IDPA again after that.
That was hard. That was a different thing. And I had so many penalties that I didn't really understand. So, yeah, first and last.
Oh, I tell you what.
I mean, and it didn't make sense where the classifier stages or whatever, I'm shooting a rifle and they're like, shoot 4, load, whatever. I was like, why the hell am I going to have a 57 round mag with 4 rounds in it?
It makes no sense, right? Stand still. I mean, I know they've changed some of the rules since that when I did it.
They're not activated too for some of the new ones till June, so we still have the old rule set.
Well, I mean, these changed a couple years ago or whatever. When I first did it, I was changing, and as I was moving the position, I reloaded. You didn't stand still and reload. I was like, why would I stand and reload? Well, that's the rules. I said, this is defensive pistol shooting, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah. I said, what you're telling me to do is the equivalent to a cop taking out his revolver in the 80s, emptying the brass into his hand and putting it in his pocket, right? They got a bunch of them killed because that's the way they had to do it on range. It was so ingrained in them. I said, now I was like, no, I'm gone. Bye.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, peace out, Felicia. I'm out.
Oh, we digress. Oh, I've got to ask a question too, because I actually don't know why. So I think it was Ruben that posted tripod nationals.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Okay, explain that to me.
Holy moly, dude. Okay, so this is one of the things in rules. So and it's not just USPSA. There are some other matches that allow the same thing. You can stage equipment. These jokers had a tripod stage. There was a lull. And you know my buddy. He's one of them.
Josh?
No, you talking about Fralett?
No, I was thinking. I don't ever know how to say his last name. Josh, whatever. It's open.
I think it's Celiac. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Josh.
Sorry.
Reading it, I don't have it here spelled out for me in phonetics to try and pronounce it. No, but so one of the stages you had a log that you shot off of, and the open guys, some of them set up a tripod in front of the log, and then they would just sit down on the log and have their gun on the tripod. Then they get up, run forward, right? They'd run forward, dump the rifle, pick up a shotgun, shoot a shotgun. At the end of that shotgun run, there was shotgun slugs. Some of these jokers set up another tripod down at the end to shoot the 60-yard slug off of.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So, at my matches, you can carry something with you.
Correct.
You can leave it behind.
Yep.
If even tac ops, if you've got a chest rig on, and you load and you drop that chest rig, I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
You can't drop your whole gun belt because your gun belt has a gun on it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But if you want to start with a tripod and use a tripod will be in your hands off the ground.
Correct.
You will not stage it down the road. And since long range is usually at the end of my stages so that we can reset to help accommodate larger stages and higher round count and everything, You cannot stage it down there at the end. Now, if you want to put it on your back on a strap like a sling and carry it down there and then rip it off and do it,
Yeah.
more power to you. But you will carry it on you to where you want to go, and then you can leave it behind.
That makes sense. In any real world scenario, you're not going to have staged tripods.
Yeah, no, Tripod Nationals. That's what this match was. It was the Tripod Nationals.
That's open only, though.
That's open only.
So yes. I don't think, I get that open is open. I don't understand that. I think you should have to start with the gear that's on you. It's the same thing as if I was like running to my car and be like in the middle of the stage and grab something. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
What?
So, but it's allowed.
No way. The system is broken.
I'll tell you what. It was my crew of buddies that were the worst offenders on that one. Man, I think they had like 7 tripods out there. Like, is your tripod better? Or is this one better? Let's play with it. I don't want your tripod. I want to use my tripod.
Oh my god.
No, all those guys, and I'm not even going to name them. I'm not even going to name drop them, but there's a picture floating around on the internet. They've got like 3 or 4 tripods set up amongst them.
So really, nobody's dropped those videos yet, is what's happening, because they know they would be given shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, open is supposed to have an advantage, but it comes from the dot and it comes from the open shotguns and the side saddle. Like that's where, and the unlimited, the larger mag capacities, and you can use bags and stuff like that. The whole tripod thing, like
that's.
I would just assume outlaw tripods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this isn't a PRS match.
No, I get bipods even, but it should be on the gun or on yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I've seen like 5-foot bipods. You know, people have like legs that are like 4 feet tall. Yeah.
No.
So you want to run that in my match? If it attaches to the gun, it stays on the gun. You don't have to fold them jokers up and go running around. Go running through the shoot house with those things.
It would be like the old guns that had like the sword attached, whatever. Okay, maybe this will stir up shit. So, in your opinion, Donnie, do red dots belong in TAC Ops?
No.
Thank you.
Tell Dave Hartman to take that to the. No, so
train station. Take that to the train station.
There you go. He already lives in Wyoming. He's right there for it. It's down the road. So my opinion on that. So carry optics is the fastest growing division in USPSA, right?
Yep.
Huge number of people do it. Ton of people are using it for their carry guns nowadays. So I do not believe that red dots belong in TAC Ops. However, like the Tarheel Challenge, I created a separate
division.
Yep. Called Carry Optics. It is TAC Ops with a slide ride red dot.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Slide ride red dot allowed. For the people that want to shoot that don't want to change guns to have to play because that's what they play with the most and that's what they shoot the most. You know, USPSA carry optics every weekend, but they want to come 3-gun, but they don't want to go open and they don't want to switch back to a limited gun.
Yeah.
I get it. It is, I think I've got 14 or 15 people signed up for it in the Tarheel Challenge. TAC Ops is still the winner in participation with open right behind it. Open has freaking exploded in the last couple of years. We used to have 10 to 15 people at a match that were open. And now, like the Pro-Am, for instance, I think I've got 70-something people that are open.
Wow.
You know? Now, granted, it's strictly open in TAC Ops at that match, but out of 200 shooters, 75 to 80 of them are open shooters.
That's a lot.
That's a good bit. Yeah. So I believe that, but you know, Matt says it the best or whatever. He said, it's stupid if you want to put a dot on there thinking it's going to help you go faster. That's fine, because I'll have a dot on mine and I'm going to go faster and I will crush your soul even more. And that's like his opinion of it. He's like, you can put it on there. It's not going to help you do better. It's not going to help you finish better.
Yeah.
He said, all it's going to do is help you miss faster.
Yeah.
For a lot of these guys. So carry optics division, yes. Red dots in TAC Ops.
I agree. Yeah. Hard as hell. I was listening to that podcast too. I think that was one of the divisions sort of that he's trying to do. I don't know. I'm not going to quote it, but he was trying to add something completely different for those people too.
So
you talking about Brian said that or
Brian Nelson?
Okay.
Yeah,
he was down there this past weekend too.
Yeah, I saw his furry face and I was like, that's not Brian. You guys look like completely different people when you have a fur on your face.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. I saw Dan Horner at the beginning of the match, and he drove by and I waved to him, and he like waved and kind of kept on going down the road. And at the end of the match, the prize table, I walked up. I was like, "What's going on, man?" He was like, "What? Have you been here all weekend?" I was like, "Yeah." You drove right past me and waved as I waved at you. You know, the first day, he was like, "Dude, I didn't even recognize you." I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting that a good bit right now."
I love it. I love it. So do you want to talk a little bit actually about the Pro-Am match too that's coming up this fall? And that's third year, right?
Yeah, third year. Yeah, and it keeps growing. So like actually up to about June each year, there's been about 70-ish people signed up and registered. And then including ROs, it ends up a little bit over 200, 203, 204. I think it was 187 the first year and ended up like 204 last year. This year, the registration's already at 140 something, around 180 with the ROs. So, and then, like I said, majority of the people have always traditionally kind of signed up June, July time frame. So I'm hoping that it actually fills up this year. Made a lot of strides that first year match director or whatever. I learned a lot about the time management, the analytics, stage design as far as flow and everything like that. I kept it real simple the first year to kind of see where we could handle and push the AMs. Second year, I made it a little bit more difficult, gave a couple stages that had some more options, wasn't so straightforward or whatever. You know, a lot of pros are like, well, I don't want to do that. You know, it's I want to shoot my match, and trying to help somebody is, you know, it takes away. Like, bro, who's your sponsor? Like, let's call your sponsor and see if your sponsor thinks that that's the correct answer in that situation. Like, it's too far away. I got you.
Yeah.
No problem. It doesn't offend me at all.
Yeah.
But when you're a sponsored shooter and your response is, I can't shoot my best match if I have an AM shooter that I'm having to help.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't belong in this sport.
Period.
You're not what this sport is about. And you're certainly not what the atmosphere of that match is about.
That match, yeah.
We'll kick it up a little bit more this year. And, you know, last year we did more of what we were trying to do the first year. We had the barbecue dinner on Saturday night, had a band out there. Clint Upchurch and his band came out there. This year I think we're just going to have a DJ. Keep it a little bit more simpler, a little bit more diverse tunes or whatever. Cornhole tournament. Had a barbecue dinner that Jeremy Swafford did. And let me tell you,
good. So
good. God, it was so good. And that blueberry cobbler that he did or whatever, whew, yes, ma'am. Legit. So we did that. You know, we had more of what's the word I'm looking for? I had the side stages. We still had the Bear at 1 Mile challenge. We're going to have the Bear at 1 Mile challenge again this year, which I'm about to post that up so people can start registering for that.
How much does that cost to shoot that?
I think we do $25, and all the proceeds go back to a charity foundation. So last year we did Memorial 3-gun, we did Battle Buddy 3-gun, and we did Generation 3-gun. Okay. And I'm a firm believer that the future, the only way we're going to protect the Second Amendment is with the next generation of shooters. So this year we're probably going to do a majority of it towards Generation 3-gun. And then the rest of it towards maybe Battle Buddy 3-gun.
Yeah.
Or
you could say that too for a world shoot.
Yeah, Stevens Duskins or something like that. So, but all the money from because we do a fastest pro, fastest AM 3-gun shoot off stage, and the fastest pro and the fastest AM win a Lead Star rifle, and all that money goes to a charity. And then we do a cornhole tournament. All that money goes to charity. We do the 1 Mile challenge. All that money goes to charity. So we've done pretty good with those. Last year, Jeremy, for the barbecue dinner, donated all the funds from the barbecue dinner to it. And I think that was like, he donated like $1,200 or $1,300.
Wow.
For the dinner or whatever. Well, he raised like $1,200 to $1,300, and that was including like other people were like
Oh,
Here, give some extra, whatever kind of thing.
that's awesome.
So it was good, but the big thing there is trying to make it into. I want it to be an event.
Yeah.
Like people come,
Experience.
people
Yeah.
hang out, have a good time.
Yep.
Everybody said, like, I do want to say that probably half the match was out there on Saturday night at the barbecue dinner, if not more. He ran out of food, and he had enough food for like 140 people.
Wow.
So, but that's what I wanted. I want the pro-am to be something where it gets rid of the clicks. People are talking and moving from group to group to, whatever, and interacting with people and introducing their AMs to other people and helping to grow that circle of like-minded people that you have.
Well,
so,
the other thing too, and I don't know if you're going to do this ever, and maybe it's bad mentioning it, but are you ever going to do like a night or like a night vision or something, like Superstition does?
They're doing that this weekend. Jason and them do it at their match. What I may do, because if you do that, it's going to be a base stage.
Yeah. Just something experience, though. I don't think a lot of people have shot under night vision, and it's cool out there.
Yeah, and the person, Jason and them, they've got it going at their match, but they're not the ones who do that. It's and I may talk to him this weekend because I like that idea. And maybe we'll do the match fee. Will be towards for that. We'll go towards a charity as well.
Yeah.
But sure, John Sherbert is the one who does that. That works at Griffin Group and everything. Phenomenal dude, former SF and everything. Great guy. He's the one that puts on all those night matches out there and everything like that. So have him come in and maybe do a 4-stage kind of thing. And anybody that wants to do it, maybe we can get a company to donate some night vision to let people who don't have it run it. And kind of do that. So that's a good idea. I like that. We can set that up for Friday night.
That's one thing. Like before, the weekend kicks off. And it was funny when I went up there to the gathering. We kind of got in trouble, but we didn't. We did a little bit of the golf cart night visioning, which was really cool though to have that experience. And like then I know Chad has the toys. He had the flamethrower. So like Clinton House is becoming another one of those tactical Disneyland places.
Oh yeah, it's and Chris and Chip Grant who own it are
awesome.
They have decided they want shooting there. They want the events. They want the matches, and they have spent the money and done the work to do so. You can't tell me another
facility,
another range facility where when it rains and you need hay rolled out on the stage and brought out there and this, that, and other done, and the owner comes out and does it. And like he doesn't just own the Clinton House, like he owns a textile plant and some other stuff. He does not have to do that.
No.
But he's out there rolling that stuff out, and Chip's out there welding stuff out and picking up the son, who, it's his property as well, is out there picking up trash and stuff like that. You can't tell me another range facility where they do that.
No.
They want it there, and they are very humble and very down to earth and very approachable. And they're doing everything they can to bring shooting into this area.
It's funny. Chris's wife, we left the Hunter's HD Gold carpet there from the gathering because we knew we'd be back for MultiGun Nationals, and she literally cleaned the carpet for Brian.
Oh, she is a trip and a half.
Love her.
Like I said, they're you've seen the Clinton House. Yeah. You know the money they put in there. It's 2,200 acres, whatever. She probably doesn't have to work, and she still works. She's a teacher.
Yep.
And she does it because she loves it. That's the kind of people that they are. And I think the world of them and their whole family and everything. And Chip just had another baby just a couple. Matter of fact, he had a baby the week of Pro-Am.
Oh,
last year.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, they had a little girl Tuesday
50,
or Wednesday.
50? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two, I didn't ask this for people that don't know the Pro-Am. How does someone qualify as a pro versus an amateur?
Okay, so to qualify as a pro, it's two ways. One is you finish top 35% in your division at a major 3-gun match. So if you were at MultiGun Nationals and Nate Staskowicz finished at 100%, he was 100%, and you finished at 64.5% of Nate, you don't technically qualify as a pro. You can be an A. If you hit 65.1 or 65, pro it is, right? The other way is integrity based. Like, that you should be a pro. You may not be the shooter that Nate is, that Matt is, that Joel is, or, Josh or some of these other high-end guys. But you've been shooting for a while. You have the tools to help somebody. Yeah. You've got the knowledge to share, right? And that's what it's about. So it's integrity-based. Maybe you don't qualify as a pro, but you think that you should be because you have stuff to offer. Cool. If, say, you're a grandmaster shooter in 3 or 4 different divisions in USPSA, you know how to shoot long range, or you know how to break down stages, you know how to do this, you know how to do that. Non-integrity.
Pro. Yeah.
No, you should be a freaking pro. Maybe you don't have all the experience on the shotgun, but you don't need a bunch of experience with shotgun to tell them. You know how to shoot a rifle. This isn't PRS. PRS is a very different game than 3-gun. But you know how to shoot a rifle. You know how to get into position. You know what I mean? Like, I had someone last year who was like, I'm going to be an AM. I was like, no, you're not. They're like, I've never shot a 3-gun match. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You're running open. You've got an open shotgun. You do very well at these single gun AR, AK matches. You do very well at 2-gun matches. You're a master class shooter in a bunch of different divisions. Like, nah, bro.
Where did they end up?
Where did they end up in the match?
Yeah.
Oh, they crashed and burned.
Oh, okay. No, I like that though.
Yeah, but it was. They can tell you that they shot well, but they had some mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
And the mental breakdowns are what cost them. And that's, it is what it is. Getting used to 3-gun, but you're not teaching an AM the mental game of it. That's too advanced for what they're doing. You're teaching them positions, how to look at a stage. Hey, don't forget this. Here's that. Here's some more ammo. That's what you're helping them with. You're helping them with that kind of stuff, and that has nothing to do with your mental stuff. But the fact is, as a pro, you're not going to shoot as good of a match as you would have if you didn't have a partner.
Yeah, and so coaching is allowed for amateurs, not for pros, and then technically there is like a separate prize table for the amateur and the pros.
Yep, separate prize tables, and we do a separate staff match too. Now, there's something I'm going to say. So, most matches don't do this. I've started, because of the first year, there were some things that we should have changed that we didn't, because we had already shot the ROs. And that made me realize, like, we need a separate RO prize table. So I started a separate match, the ROs for all my matches, major matches, shoot a separate match with a separate prize table. That way, if we see for the match, then we can change it, and it doesn't put the ROs at advantage or disadvantage within the match.
Wait, you cut out on the first part, so it's a different match. All right, start over with the pro and the RO side of the match.
Okay, so I have 2 separate matches, right? We've got the regular match, and we've got the RO match. So the staff actually registers for a separate match.
Okay.
That way, if there's something that we see that's wrong throughout the RO match or whatever, the staff match, we can change it for the regular match.
Yeah.
And, if they're shooting a separate match, and let's say we change some targets around, we make them harder for the main match than they were for the staff match. Well, if it's all the same thing and they're falling into the same place on the prize table, well, now we just gave an advantage to the staff.
Yeah.
So 2 separate matches, 2 separate prize tables. That way it doesn't have a negative impact on either side.
Then would the staff still be split in pro and am categories?
Yes.
Okay.
They are. They're still set in pro and am. Here's a perfect example. So MultiGun Nationals, they realized at stage 2 that everybody could get to that thing, right? If that had been a separate match, they had already shot it. If it had been a separate match, they could have shut it down. They could have changed it up for the main match, and it wouldn't have affected anybody negatively. It wouldn't have affected the staff, and it wouldn't have affected the match.
Right.
So
the only thing I'm curious about is, like, I know that there's still be some differences in that. Could you ever put yourself into the main match as staff just to see where you would have ended up, even though some things have changed?
I don't think so. I mean, you can always look at percentages and figure it out, like do the math or whatever, because it's X amount of points, and you can do X amount of points out of how many possible points there are, your percentage based off of what their points are.
Yeah.
You know, like if the Nate got 900 points and you got 787, you divide, do the math and figure out what percentage you are of him, and then you can see where you'd finish in the match. So I mean, that's really the only way to do it.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to stir up some pot here, but I know we talked about at the gathering. So do you want to have your minute here to talk about prize table matches versus not having to do prize tables and just enjoy the sports awards or whatever?
Now, see, that's a tricky thing. So I will tell you, as a match director, and I don't think you would get any match director to ever disagree with this. The most work you do is the prize table. Mm-hmm. That is, like, I will take the 2 weeks to set up the match and a couple days to break it down, or a week and a half to set up the match and a couple days to break it down, and I'm good to go. But if a match director is doing their job properly and staying in contact with their sponsors, pushing posts, creating content, helping actually support the sponsors and everything like that, then that is 90% of my time.
Yeah.
If you take the sponsorship away and say, hey, no prize table, we're just going to shoot it for fun, the match director is going to be like, woo! They're going to throw their hands up and be like, yes. And
hold on. Whoever's listening to this, please go to YouTube and watch Donnie do this.
I mean, I love my sponsors. I'm grateful for the people that sponsor my matches. And I like to think that the effort that I push, like I call the sponsors every year and I'm like, hey, look, here's what I'm doing. You've seen what I've done so far. Here's what I'm doing. Like for Tarheel 3-Gun this year, I started a Tarheel 3-Gun YouTube page, right? I did a 12-week intro to 3-Gun video series, the American Defense 12-week or intro to 3-Gun video series, which was part of their thing for being the title sponsor of the Tarheel Challenge. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be doing reviews on some IWI guns, some American Defense guns, some Leadstar guns, Vortex optics. I've got some stuff from Real Avid. Like I'm starting to do all these different reviews and stuff like that to help give a better value to my sponsors of the matches and everything. But that being said, if I didn't have to do all that in order to have a match, if I didn't have to take that time away from my family, take that time away from doing business, take that time away from practicing, take that time away from doing other things, that's like a lot off your shoulders, right? Yeah. So if you said, hey, Tarheel Challenge is $325. If we said, hey, we're going to make that 650 round, 9-stage, 3-day match $175. Took $150 off of it. No prize table. Are you going to come shoot it? If we did it for $150, $175, are you there to shoot and put rounds down range? Or are you there for the possibility to pick up a really nice prize?
Right.
Because you're a top guy, or, you just picking up something makes you feel good, even if it's a bottle of oil and some stickers, and a $10 off certificate or something like that. It's why are you shooting? Does that matter to you? I don't think you're going to get enough people to say, yes, I'll do that versus no, I want to walk the prize table and I'll pay more money.
Yeah.
So until sponsors are like, we're done, peace out, we're not sponsoring anything anymore, you're going to have the prize tables, and match directors are going to have to do the work to earn their sponsors as well. And it's not just, I think here's part of the problem with the sport is people think that it's the match director's job to promote the sponsors and to say thank you and to provide an ROI to them. And it's not. It is equally just as much, I would say more important, that the shooters show the sponsors the ROI and the return on investment for what they're putting on prize tables and stuff like that. Yep. After the Pro-Am, and I'll do it at the challenge and everything as well. But I said, hey, it's great to get on there and say, hey, pick this up off the prize table at the Pro-Am at the American Defense Tarheel Challenge. Thank you for sponsoring. Appreciate it. Love this. Going to use it. they appreciate that. They see that, they value that. It's good for them, right? Helps a marketing guy turn around to the board, to the vice president or whatever, and say, hey, look, we're being tagged in all this stuff.
Yep.
It's even more valuable to them when you get online and you purchase a Vortex scope from Stage Zero, or you purchase a JP Silent Capture, or Timney trigger, or Hyperfire trigger, or Lead Star rifle, or whatever. And then when you get it, you turn around and say, hey, I just bought this, from, by such and such, by JP, by Vortex, by whoever. And I bought this partly because of your support of X, Y, and Z match, because of your support of the competition shooting sports. Thank you for what you do. And you put that in the post, and they see that. Like, hey, this isn't just something we gave away, them saying thank you. This is them spending their money on our product, which is why we do this to begin with. Yeah. And I think not enough shooters realize that if they want prize tables, they've got to put some skin in the game and put some effort into thanking the sponsors as well.
Yeah. I think, even like I'm a sponsored shooter by other companies, but even if there is like a competitor in that market and they've sponsored and I pull something from prize table or win like a random draw, like I still go say thank you. That's still their product, their time, it's not a conflict to say thank you. I think that's a winning combination for the sport. And, just like I've been learning to vote with my dollars for the past like 3 years. It doesn't matter if it's a fast food restaurant, right? Or a gas station or whatever, but like similar to this, like if I see that company sponsoring a match, okay, I'm going to support them over maybe the one that I would really, really like or want, and I'm going to give them a shot. And typically they're equal or better,
No, and you say the voting with your dollars, and it's funny because, by where you purchase based off of things that they've done. There are companies in the marketplace that have done some really bad marketing strategies, degrading other companies. Yeah. And because of that, a lot of shooters won't go shop with X, Y, and Z company because of that. I was talking to Dave Horn this weekend. He's getting the itch to buy a new truck. And he was like, yeah, but I may switch over to the dark side and get a Chevy or GM. I was like, I will never, ever buy a Chevy or GM. He was like, why? Oh, because of the bailout? I was like, yes. Yeah. I said, Ford didn't take any money, kept on going. Dodge took money. They didn't have to pay it back, but cool. GM took money and then shipped jobs out of the country. I will, unless it's like a 67 Camaro or something like that, I will never, ever buy it. He was like, well, he said, I respect that. He said, if that's, I said, I'm not like that on everything. It's a matter of, what's important to me. Yep. Coke got woke and a lot of people wouldn't drink them or whatever. And I still drink Cokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't exactly
kick that habit of drugs there. No.
I'll tell you what, we all have little things that kind of hit a little bit more closer to home for us than other things. And it's matter of where you take your stand. But like you said, vote with your dollars, and hopefully, and I put this at almost every one of the announcements for a sponsor is support those who support us.
Yep.
If you've got X, Y, and Z company and they don't support or ever sponsor a match or do anything to support the shooting sports or the Second Amendment as a whole, don't spend your money with them.
No.
You're going to get, like you said, an as good as or better product usually.
Yep.
For the same amount of money, a little bit more, a little bit less.
Yep.
Take your business somewhere else.
And a lot of them, I was telling somebody this the other day because they were asking me about sponsorship. Somebody in an email actually came in from my website and, they're like, oh, I shoot locals and I want to be sponsored. And I was like, okay, well, that's not where you're going to get sponsored too. But the other thing is the companies are shooting in the matches. Like Jason from Federal, Ruben from Vortex, Lan and Mike who own Dissident, like they are shooters. That's what they do. And they're literally at these matches. So that says a lot too, because I don't actually buy a lot of products from companies that don't listen to their shooters, don't have somebody that's shooting for them, that's giving them feedback, that's innovating. That's a big, huge deal to me. Because the other thing too, what you're saying is like, okay, this company never sponsors a sport. I bet you that maybe there's like 1% of person that has a contact there versus like, again, Vortex, there's 700 of us that can give you Ruben's cell phone number today, but not that we would do that, right. But our community would help you figure out what you need and the customer service is there.
Yeah. I'll be like this. Hey, here's Ruben's number. Tell him Joe gave it to you.
Donnie Flowe.
What's your name? Joe Farewell. Your jersey says Donnie Flowe. No, it's not. So But, when it comes to the local shooters, and I get a lot of those, and I tell you what, Mike Sexton, Leg Star, he gets a lot of them
Yeah.
that will call him and be like, hey, especially the Steel Challenge shooters, be like, my son, daughter, is a shooter and did this, and you should sponsor them. He's like,
Yeah.
no. But like for me, I'm not a phenomenal, and I'll say this.
I'm not a phenomenal shooter if that's where you're going.
Yeah, in regards to to personal sponsorship, you do not have to be a phenomenal shooter in order to get sponsorships.
Example A, example B.
You have to be a phenomenal ambassador. Me, I'm in a unique situation because I own State Zero Shooting Supply and I can sell stuff. And Victor's Practical, when he first started, like I was his only dealer for years and sold. I was buying $25,000 to $30,000 worth of product from him a year and then selling. Same thing for Hyperfire. Same thing for F1 when they started. Leadstar when they started. Like I could move product because I was at a match. Prototypes for MBX when they started doing their AR base pads and the coupler system. Yeah. Adrian sent me the prototypes, and I took them with me up to the Trijicon 3-man 3-gun.
Nice.
So okay. Kind of did a little post about it, showed everybody whatever, got up there, showed people, and in 3 hours at the prize table and the breakfast dinner, breakfast thing where they did the awards and everything up there, I pre-sold. They weren't even available yet. And I pre-sold like 60-something sets in 3 hours.
That's awesome.
To people up there. So, like for me, I have you can quantify what I'm doing for the company in sales because Stage Zero is making the purchases.
Yeah.
But being an ambassador is way better than finishing at the top. I think Patrick Beckham is an excellent example of that. Patrick wasn't a phenomenal shooter starting out, but he's been all over social media. Yeah. And that dude was lost. You talk about somebody who's putting some work. He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He was a freaking great guy. But he has been. I will tell you that Invictus Practical, their resurgence. Yeah, I see it on back there. That's why I keep pointing at the screen there. So a lot of the resurgence in my sales, I full-heartedly believe, has come from his effort in helping to promote Invictus Practical.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you have to do. You know, if you can show value.
Yeah, and showing up. So, I mean, bless her heart, the person that emailed me, I wrote it out. I'm going to give this feedback to everyone. That's what I kind of told her. I'm like, how many matches do you RO every year? How many new shooters have you brought to this sport? How many people have borrowed your guns, your gear, what have you? How many majors can you get to if you can for the year, right? Because the entire Marine Corps team, we were doing the jungle run. I think every single person borrowed my caddies. And then we would just put them on the next person, because we have the ELS system, which is so wonderful to be able to use gear. You can never have too many of that. And that's just one example. We've seen thousands of examples, but that's it goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's it for the individual sponsor stuff. I guess that.
Well, that's good though. The other thing that we were talking about kind of offline too is just how the political nature of everything has changed. It was funny when I was first starting shooting. I've never been into politics. I don't like those games. And I would always say, like, I'm not political. And I'm not when it's coming like forcing out other people, but I'm having to get involved now, voting with dollars, speaking up, having to share knowledge because it's so misconstrued. So what are some things that you've seen like the shooters in this industry start getting involved with, like politically wise, and what does that future look like for us?
So I think that I think there are a lot of people that are going to get out and try and protect the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, whether it's NRA or whether it's Heritage Foundation, whatever the thing is, there's a whole plethora of organizations, foundations dedicated to protecting the Second Amendment. Shooters in particular, I think, have one of the best foundations for vocalizing that support and the reason for the Second Amendment. I think we've got a lot of shooters who are representing in the political spectrum. So you've got like Tony Cowden, who is running for Senate in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. You've got Aaron Reed, who used to shoot for Bushmaster and everything, running for the House in the state of Kentucky.
Yep.
You've got a bunch of younger shooters like You look at like
Becky, or not Becky, Beth Walker has been outspoken.
Beth Walker. I was gonna say Beth Walker and everything that she's doing and whatnot. Sydney Rockwell, who has gone and worked as an intern at the White House, or with a congressman and everything from her state and everything.
Becky actually and her family has done that as well. Like they've gone up to DC and yeah.
So I was gonna say you got the DC project and Diana and everything that those people are doing and everything. So there's a lot of organizations that are getting shooters involved. Mm-hmm. I think the normal person that just buys guns to collect guns and go to the range to plink and whatever, I mean, they're great to go and to help vocalize that. But I think when you have such a diverse group, like you could go to a 3-gun match, and she hasn't been out lately, and I know she lost her husband. But Laura Torres, doctor, black lady, doctor, shooter, and then you step over and you've got, I can't even think, like just some of the diversity. You've got like people from the military, you've got doctors, you've got lawyers, you've got people that are, working at Lowe's, you've got people that are police officers.
Yep.
Oh man, just there's so many people from so many different walks of life that are, male, female, all race, creeds, colors, whatever. I don't think there's any better, what's the word I'm looking for? Sport that shows the diversity of this country, and not just the diversity, but that just get along.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, I know people have offered me places to stay that I've never even met. Like we're friends on social media, but like I know friends, and like that's not surprising. And the other thing is, I was talking to Morgan Leonhardt's dad, and he gave me a quote from a magazine for her, but he was like, there's name another sport where you can compete against your kid and have fun and be competitive and travel together. I'm like, I couldn't.
Name another sport that literally someone would be like, your gun went down, here it is. Your piece of gear broke, here's mine.
Oh,
your ammo's not running. This happened the other day at MultiGun Nationals. The guy's ammo wasn't running. Someone's like, "You need ammo? I got some."
Yeah.
Go look in the back of my truck. Get what you need.
That's awesome. This is funny too. I got to share this real quick. On Cowboy Action, nobody ever knows their real names. So I was at a major match and my revolvers went down. This guy gave it to me, and at the end, like I found him and gave him back. He goes, "I realized I didn't even know your real name. I actually forgot your A-list. I gave you 2 pistols, like $1,300." But that's normal. And he's like, and I knew I would get him back.
No, it's funny because Dave Horn and Stephon Wiggins, I went to a 3-gun match with them up in Alabama many, many years ago. And when we pulled in and I'm in the back seat, and both of them at like the same time go, "Drop that strong box." I'm like, what is that? And they're like, "Well, Cowboy Town." I was like, "I don't know what that is." They're like, "We enter Cowboy Town." I was like, "I don't know what Cowboy Town is." And they were like, "Cowboy Action." I was like, "I don't know what that is." And they're like, "Well, you have these different names." They kind of told me what it was, and they're like, and usually at the start of a stage, they make you say something crazy before you start it. So they're like, "We shot it one time, and one of the things that we had to say was drop that strong box." So every time I go into Cowboy Town, when we go to the Rock or whatever and see Cowboy Town, or in Atlanta, their area, whatever, the first thing that comes to my mind anytime I ever hear anything about cowboy action shooting is drop that strong box.
Donnie, it's a harder competition than people make fun of. I will tell you that.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, we had some people that used to shoot down here that were like phenomenal cowboy action shooting. Jody and Megan Snyder used to do it a lot. And there's another guy, I can't remember his name, but he used to do it as well, because when he came to shoot 3-gun, he saw them and he was like, "I know those people from somewhere." I was like, "Cowboy action shooting?" He was like, "Yeah, that's such and such and such and such." I was like, "I don't know about that name, but that's Jody and that's me."
That's awesome. Yep.
So, but yeah, so I think for the political spectrum, I think we have to get involved. I think sitting on the sideline, it's kind of like as Christians, sitting on the sidelines and just letting the status quo go, or voicing our opinion amongst ourselves while not voicing it politically and getting more involved, whether it's helping get somebody elected, whether it's running for a political office, whether it's getting super involved in something like the DC project or something like that has a larger impact and everything like that. we've got to do things to actually get involved in. And I'll tell you, for young people, I think Beth Walker is a phenomenal role model for junior shooters when it comes to a pathway to follow, a blueprint to follow of how to get involved and make your voice heard.
Yeah, she's wise beyond her years.
Oh yeah, very much. I think the world of her. Sydney Rockwell the same way. I think the world of her. We don't get to see her out there shooting much anymore or whatever. Hopefully she makes it back out sometime soon. But I think both of them are phenomenal young women that are doing all the right things to help themselves in life and to help promote the shooting sports and protect the Second Amendment.
Oh yeah. The unfortunate thing too is like we as a collective group too are being scrutinized, watched, and all of that. And honestly, it's like one bad taste in someone's mouth from any one of us represents the entire community. So, we really have to realize that we are representing a group much bigger than ourselves. So even if we have to say it a little bit nicer, bite our tongue, on how we respond, like that's important too.
You gotta stop eating our own.
Yeah.
You get a new shooter that comes in and wants to ask a question, and people just blast them. It's like, why?
Yeah.
What would it have been easier for you to not have responded and let somebody who wanted to help respond than it was for you to type some smart aleck response and make them feel unwanted, like we don't want them in the game, we don't want them helping,
or feel dumb, and we forget that we were there in their spot before.
Yeah. So we got to stop eating our own from within.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly important. And I'll be honest with you, I think the internet's the devil.
It is.
Social media, we kill ourselves on social media. People get on there and badmouth sponsors. People get on there and badmouth other people, organizations. It just, the anonymity of, and while we may know your name, you're not going to get punched in the mouth for saying things on social media like you will if you say it in person to somebody.
Right.
So, internet tough guys.
Yep. Well said. Switching complete gears, I want to talk about entrepreneurship. So Stage Zero Shooting Supply. I want to know, what made you start that? Was that a brick and mortar before? Was it online? What made you start that?
So when I first got into shooting, I was buying some stuff, and I called the company to say, hey, here's what I'm wanting to get, and they're like, oh yeah, here's what you need. I was like, okay, is this, I understand it's your company, but is this the best thing out there? Just, give me honest feedback. I'm looking to buy your product. I'm not looking to buy something else, but kind of need to know. Here's what I've seen. I've seen this. Oh, this is the latest and greatest, If you don't like it, let me know. We'll fix it, take care of it. All right, cool. So I ordered it. And 2 weeks later, Invictus had just come out. And I didn't know about Invictus yet. I mean, they were just coming out. This guy had already seen them. And it was a shot shell caddy company.
Yeah.
And I come back and I was like, hey, I seen that you just released something that is better than what I bought 2 weeks ago with you telling me it was the latest and greatest and there was nothing else coming. Well, yeah, but I can't really tell you that something's coming. It's not released. I'm like, okay. So are you going to do anything for me? Well, I'll give you 10% off. Don't worry about it. I went and bought Invictus. They were more expensive. I went and bought Invictus. And because of that, I was like, you know what? No, I'm sorry. It was AP Customs, not Invictus. Invictus hadn't come out yet. AP Customs. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. No, I'm tired of calling companies and being told one thing and turn around and it's something completely different. Several of the companies were looking to make a buck and looking to make the money, and they weren't concerned about repeat business. So I opened up Stage Zero for the, hey, I will help you get what you need the first time.
Right.
Not try and make more money off of you by selling you something wrong the first time for you to come buy something else. I would rather make money and get the repeat business from the next time you need something, from your referrals to other people that, hey, this is an honest dude. You can call him, talk to him, trust him, whatever. So that's what I've done. And I've had people that have gotten online and bought something, and I'm like, let me call them. And I'll call them like, hey, why are you buying this? Well, because of this. Well, have you thought about this? No, I hadn't thought about that. Let me do that. Can I switch that? What do I need to do? Not a problem, man. Here's the difference. Let's take the payment over time and get them the right thing.
Yeah.
So I started off with like $3,000 worth of product from AP Customs, Blade Tech, and Warren Scope Mounts. And why I decided to carry scope mounts before I even carried scopes, I don't know. I think that falls into the trap of poor business decisions. So hey man, you got a scope to go with that scope mount?
No, but I got
So I started off with that, and I had like a 10x10 tent, a tablecloth, and 8-foot table or 6-foot table, and three plastic containers that I would carry in the back of the truck and set up. And then I started doing the Hero Pro and started doing the FFL stuff for 3Gun Nation and Tarheel 3Gun, and use that money to help grow or whatever. And then went from a GoDaddy website to a better website with an actual inventory system and point of sale and everything. And I've taken all the money and pushed it back into the business. So I went from 3,000 in inventory to like 160,000 in inventory.
Wow.
And I'm just working on growing that. So I've got the website, StageZeroShooting.com, spelled with ZERO, no zero. Actually spelled out, but StageZeroShooting.com. I have a brick and mortar. I've got a 10,000 square foot shop that's zoned for industrial. It's set up like a shop. All the inventory's up on the walls, glass display cases, everything like that. I do that by appointment only because I'm still active duty military.
Yeah.
So I'm not here all the time. So I do that by appointment only, and generally only with people that I know.
Yeah.
Or that have a strong reference. Like you call and say, hey, I know this guy. Can he come pick this up? Cool. Not a problem. This guy calls and says, hey, I saw your place on the internet. I want to come get this. I don't take input traffic, bud.
Yeah.
And that's because it's at my house. It's a facility zone, light industrial, commercial behind my home where my family is. And I don't want strangers coming out there seeing that, what I have out there and everything, FFL and whatnot. So
yeah,
keep that traffic down, keep the wife a little bit more happy with knowing that complete strangers aren't coming to the house all the time. So
when did you open your business?
I opened it in 2013. So I was actually sitting in the hospital at Walter Reed in DC, filling out the paperwork and submitting things to open up accounts with people. I called Aaron at AP Customs, and I was talking to him, and I was like, oh, he's like, the doctors came in, and I was hold on a second. And I was talking to them, and he's like, dude, are you at the hospital? I was like, yeah. He said, who's in the hospital? I was like, I am. He's like, what are you in the hospital for? I said, I just had 2 discs replaced in my neck. He said, when? I said, this morning. He said, are you kidding me? I was like, nah. I said, I just had them replaced this morning, He was like, geez.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so I opened it in 2013. I've just been growing it. I've got 3 years. What's today's date? The 7th.
Oh my God, you have the countdown. Here we go.
I've got 3 years, 7 months, and 24 days till I retire. So
every time I've seen Donnie, you guys, he literally knows the exact date.
Can't come fast enough. I'm ready to go. Like once I hit that 2-year sanctuary, man, I ain't doing nothing but doctor's appointments, medical appointments, and whatever reason leave. I'm a ghost. I'm like, who's that guy? He works here? Yeah, that's our club. I don't know who that is.
God.
I've been here 3 years. I don't know who that is.
Oh my gosh. But I love it. Like you've pretty much set yourself up for success. Like most military, they struggle with that transition points. Like they don't plan or, they're thinking about it maybe way too late of like a year or a couple months out. Whereas you've built this business where when you're ready to be out, you've got something to go full send on.
Yep. And that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Between Tarheel 3Gun and Stage Zero, that's what I'm hoping. Run matches, run the business. Maybe be able to hire some people down the road. Maybe be able to hire somebody to do marketing for me. Talk about freeing up some of my time.
Who does that now for us?
can't afford Kenzie right now, though. She's kind of hot dollar.
That master's degree doesn't pay for itself.
No, you're right about that. I'll tell you what. We'll put you in the military, though. We'll help you get that degree paid for.
True. It's funny thinking about that too.
Except for like the rest of us.
Yeah, but like it's fascinating to me. Like I have a ceiling. If you had to hire a full-time person, like you couldn't hire them for what I would charge, right? But then if you think about it, like I had a ceiling. That's why I quit. I mean, entrepreneurship is super hard. It's so difficult. But 3 years ago, I was stuck in a spot with a ceiling over, and I've blasted that away. So, and I'm happier.
Yep. I mean, Dave Hartman did the same thing.
Yep.
Just kind of gave it up and went all in on something that he loves.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll be me in 3 years, 7 months, and 24 days.
I hate you.
I'm sorry, 14
6 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah, 14 days. I got less. I'm trying to give myself extra time. I only do that.
Yeah.
Long enough.
Yep. But it's cool. I mean, our industry is smaller than people think, even as a larger firearms industry. But I know like Dave Horn's got his restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got 4 and getting ready to open up a 5th.
Yep. And we
doing exactly the one. As long as I've known Dave, we cannot go to a match anywhere without having Mexican. So it's only fitting that he's opened a Mexican restaurant.
Oh,
in Soho Taco. Yeah, it's gonna be called Soho Taco.
I like it. That's awesome.
So, yeah, I told him as long as he's got some chori queso, I'm good.
Oh man, I love it. Well, okay, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to talk about? Yeah.
I don't know. We've covered what? We've covered a little bit of politics and Stage Zero and Tarheel and some of the matches and sponsorships.
What's next for you, future, other than your military time countdown?
Man, I think for me, obviously going to be spending time with people downstairs. I think for me, it's. I want to build a name. I want to, I'm still a new match director, right? Like the Tarheel Challenge is something we're bringing back. It was last time the Tarheel Challenge was around was 2017. So a lot of people don't know about it. They're in the shooting sports today, and the Pro-Am is not a good example of what this match is going to be.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know what to expect for my matches that are not the Pro-Am. Mm-hmm. So, I guess part of it is to build a good reputation there of putting together matches that test all aspects of shooting, how to break down stages, options, long range, to have kind of that. So when people see I'm announcing that we're having a match, people go, I'm there. Right. And not just the shooters, but I want to have that relationship built with the sponsors, that they know that I'm going to put in the effort to promote their product more than anybody else, or their company, their brand, and that they trust me with it as well. Yeah. So I want to build that, down the road, I'm hoping in 3 years, maybe move towards my own range. Yeah. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of what ifs, and that's a lot of what happens in the political spectrum of things. So if not, then Clinton House is going to be my home. Chris has been like, why don't you, when you retire, you come down here and run the Clinton House? I'm like,
holy cow.
We'll see. And he's like, they've got a cabin there that we stay in when we go down there. My wife loves it.
It's nice.
She's like, this. I just feel like I'm at home. And he's like, no, we can make the cabin part of the deal.
What?
Let Ashley know. And I'm like, no, we're not letting Ashley. She's like, when can we move down there?
That's the dream. I mean, I would want my own too. That's something I've seen too. Like I've wanted my whole life land. But I mean, if you look at Josh Fralick and Joe Farrell and people we've already talked about, they own their own property. They walk outside and they shoot their targets. And
well, it's work.
Yeah.
I talked to Rick Porter when I told him that I used to go out to his place to practice, and he's got like 45 acres or so, and he's got a phenomenal range set up out there, bunch of bays and long range out to like 400 or 500.
Wow.
And I was like. Told him I was looking for a property. He's like, well, what do you want to accomplish? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what are you wanting to accomplish with having land? I was like, I want to set up my own range, be able to walk outside, shoot, get some great practice in. He said, are you wanting to work? I was like when you retire, you want to just go outside, shoot or work? I was like, well, I want to shoot more than I want to work. He's like, well, then don't buy land. He's like, if you buy land, you're not going to shoot the way you thought. And he ain't wrong. I spend 85% of my time with my ranges. I've got a nice little setup at the house, back on my property or whatever. Just had the Air Force action shooting team out to train the whole week before MultiGun Nationals. But 85-90% of it I spend mowing, picking up sticks, cutting out limbs, moving trees, stuff like that. And I don't get to shoot. Right now I'm in a battle of attrition with the wasp. I keep killing them and they keep showing up. I don't know where they're coming from. But
underground.
They're going to get me before too long. It's only a matter of time. Tell you what. So it's getting land. It's great to be able to go out there and practice, but
Sure.
and especially for me when I'm working full time, new baby, and 2 businesses, it's almost impossible to get out there and really put in practice. It was like, oh, you got a range. Yeah, I don't get to use it.
You need to buy an animals and like goats that eat the grass or kill it all.
Yeah, I told Ashley, said she wanted goats. I was like, if I get goats, they're going to be fainting goats. So every time I fire around, they just fall over. I was like, I'll just have like 10 or 12 of them out there, and every time I practice, and then they just fall over. That's the only way I'm having goats is if they're the fainting goats. That way, if I'm having a bad day, I'll go out, I'll pull out the shotgun, fire it off or whatever, and watch them fall down. Keep me entertained.
Do they just come back up after it's been quiet for a bit?
Yeah, they stand back up after a while, but they go, they just fall over. Have you never seen them?
I don't know. No.
Look up fainting goats.
Okay.
Fainting goats, something like that. Anyway, they just
it's
fall
like
over.
I'm so sick of mowing the yard. Then I want asphalt or dirt, or I'm gonna murder it all. They made an auto mower. I saw this sign in Atlanta today. Okay, yeah. That is so cool. We literally went off like this Yui, and I was like, I'm buying that, investing in that. Like, put me down.
I tell you what, the mowing the yard part I actually enjoy. Get on my tractor, riding back and forth.
No,
I'm good. I'll put on some music. I'll put on the Milli Vanilli station and on Pandora, and I'll be sitting there going back and we're going. Just like rocking out. My wife's looking out the window. I'll look at him. She'll be like,
"Oh, it's cute." You were made for that life. I mean, but it takes so long. So my parents, even 14 acres, I was bush hogging. It's like 3 hours to sit.
Yeah, to mow my entire yard and the property or whatever that I mow, I've got a tractor with a 7-foot mowing deck.
Yeah.
And then I do my regular like 0 turn for the yard. And it usually takes me about 6 hours to 7 hours to mow everything weedy, to do the yard. And I'll just put in the music and I'll just get to it.
Half
the
whole day.
I'm good, yeah. I'm good.
We bored some people. What else? Anything else that we haven't covered? Or any final words of wisdom for shooters, match directors, the community, all the things?
Words of wisdom. Let's see. I'll tell you my kind of personal philosophy or whatever, I guess. It's work for what you want, earn what you get, trust in God for everything else.
I've never heard you say that. I like that.
No, that's my quoted from somebody. I think I'm the only one I think that's my personal quote.
Like that.
Work for what you want, earn what you get, trust in God for everything else.
Like it. Perfect. Well said. Oh, Donnie. Okay, so give me your website one more time, and then how can people find you on social media?
All right. So 2 websites. Stage 0 is www.stagezero.shooting.com. Tarheel 3Gun, it's www.tarheel3g.com. Jack Wagon, who owns the website, doesn't want to give it up for tarheel3gun.com, but I'm working on it. All right. On social media, Instagram, I've got it under Stage 0 Shooting Supply, all one word. And then Facebook, I've got a whole plethora of ways you can contact me. I've got Donnie Flowe. I've got Stage 0 Shooting Supply. I've got Stage 0 Shooting Supply Team or Stage 0 Shooting Team. I've got Tarheel 3Gun. I've got Microtech Pro-Am. I've got American Defense. Tarheel 3Gun. Take your pick. And then there's contact info and messages and Like one of the people like, man, I messaged you like 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, I saw it. I just couldn't find it. I don't know. I don't know which email it was. I don't know which Instagram account it was. I don't know which Facebook account it was. I don't know if he texted me. It's somewhere. I just can't find who sent it to respond.
Donnie.
So, but yeah, if you need something from Stage Zero for competition shooting, the guys at Dissonance says, we know competition. Mine is competition starts here.
There you go.
Stage 0 before Stage 1.
And if Donnie doesn't respond to you listeners on here, ping me. I will get a direct line where he knows to find it.
Yeah, sure. Just try another route.
Love it.
Man, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. It's always a good time and everything like that, and look forward to it. What are you shooting coming up?
Well,
are you shooting the Battlefield South?
I'm shooting Area 6. That was on my match before. I didn't know about that match till too late, and that looks like a really good one. I'm supposed to be registering myself for Pro-Am, although I backed out of MultiGun, so people listening, they don't know. I sprained my ankle February 11th backpacking in the Smokies. I thought it would heal up, and I've been in a brace for the last 4 weeks. I'm on week 8. I'm going to physical therapy. I've got to get an MRI. You know me, I'm pretty flexible when it comes to bruising and hurting myself. I'm like, I'm going to go the next match, but this ankle is a little bit worse than running than I thought.
Are you going to the challenge?
Well, those are the 2 matches, Pro-Am and the Tarheel 3-gun, but that is coming up, and I don't know how my ankle's going to do. Okay.
Well, at the very least, come down, hang out.
Yeah, it's not far. I want to do that no matter what. Those are on there. I want to do the 3. I know you weren't doing the team match, right, anymore?
Yeah, we pushed that off because that was the only weekend that Andy Horner could do
on his
Blue Ridge.
Right.
So he needed that weekend to set up for his match. So I said, all right, I got enough on my plate this year. We'll push that off another year or so.
Yeah. But yeah, Pro-Am and Tarheel and MultiGuns were the 3 ones that I wanted to shoot this year. So hopefully I can get at least one of those in, or else I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be sad. I don't know. And then like for, USPSA, I know people, I'm in all the sports, you guys. Like I know I'm in all of them. I really am. And I'm chasing PCC, and it's actually been a really fun time, and it's helped me move faster. So we'll see how that goes this year. And I definitely want to come over next year and shoot those shotgun matches, because I'm going to World Shoot.
There you go.
For sure.
That's how you get qualified for it.
Yeah, that's my jam. Hopefully. And then I want to go open one day, because it looks a lot easier than TAC Ops these days.
I got those Dissonant arm shotgun in stock usually.
Yeah.
So
it's saving up for next year, 2023 open. That's the goal.
There you go. I hear you. More power to you. I'll stick to TAC Ops.
You're crushing TAC Ops.
No, I'm not. I got some good work in the last 2 weeks.
You did good at MultiGun Nationals, though.
So that might be the end of the really good practice I get. I need a bunch of primers. I got like 40,000 projectiles, Bluetooth cases, and like 60 pounds of powder, and only like 10,000 primers left.
Same.
So primers are the problem. So
it's scary.
But we'll definitely see. If I didn't have to go to Battle for the South and something else on Friday for the church or whatever, I'd be going to Area 6. I'd see you there, but
I'll see you all year long.
Challenge.
I already know. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we'll look forward to seeing you there. I appreciate it. Let me know if you need anything.
Absolutely. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. So if you have any thoughts on what Donnie talked about today too, bring those up. Start talking to not just USPSA, but match directors. Get involved. There's a lot of ways to get involved in this industry, and I think what you shared was really valuable. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned, guys, for the next episode of the Reticle Up Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3Gun Kenzie.